Okay, we are back. We've looked at timers. Now we forgot something very critical with the timers, ne? We did not have our end statement. Okay, so lest we forget end statement. Okay, so please do remember for theory classes, practice will always remind you. If your program thing, when you try to diagnose it, will tell you, hey, something is missing here, no end statement. So alright, anyway, now I'm going to look at counters, and remember that counters, I'm going to deal with up counter. Okay, I'm going to deal with the up counter. I'm going to come to other counters at a later stage. First of all, when you have a counter, the letter, we use letter C for counters usually. Most PLCs use, I don't know anyone that uses a different name. We use C, we use T for timers, we use C for what? For counters. Now, let's take a simple scenario where I just have an input. That input, every time it's energized, I want the counter to count. Okay, count. So let's call that C1. We, just like the timer, we preset the what? The counter to a certain number. Alright, if you're supposed to count up to 20, we tell it. If you're supposed to count up to 100, we tell it. Okay, so let's say 20 is reasonable. So I will energize, I will have a rung. Nope, I'll have a rung around like that. Okay, not the best rubber around. Okay, now I will have a rung that only has an input I1. When I energize I1, each time I energize I1, so it will tell us how many times I1 went on. Alright, this is what the counter is going to do here. Alright, so we could have a I1 running an output, and then that output checking how many times that output actually ran. Alright, but here is just for me to explain, so I'll just say let's have our I1. Each time we hit the button I1, we want to see how many times I1 was energized. Now it will count up to 20. So meaning if you go beyond 20, well, from what I've seen with PLCs, you will see that they are still counting, but they won't be showing it anymore. They will have reached their what? Their percent count. Because usually this count is used like some sort of delay also. You know, 20-second delay is a problem. You say 20 seconds delay, it will count like the actual seconds. But with the counter, even if I hit a button now and I stay 10 hours and I hit it again, so it's not really locked up to specific it's not really locked up to, like, you know, the way the seconds are. I mean, you can't change seconds. The second is a second. But here, if I'm counting over 30 days, I can still do engage I1 3 times today, maybe 7 times tomorrow, do nothing for the next 28 days, and on the last day he use it again. So this is is different than at time. So now if I'm then going to say I want that one there, when that one is done, when the counter is done, I want it to run to tell me indicator lamp that the preset, maybe I'm counting things as they gather, maybe I'm packing, and I want 20 things per package. So once I go to 20, I know that something else is supposed to happen, probably packing up, maybe conveyor belt must take these things out, and probably they get packaged somehow. So we count for different reasons. So I really don't care about why we're counting now. I want to show us how we count. So let's say that is the output that will respond once the counting is done. So what happens here now? That whether it's a sensor, that could be that counter that I1 could be, remember, it can be wired to anything. Probably it could be a sensor counting things as they pass on a conveyor belt, right? Before they are packed away. Maybe that Q1 is going to drive a packer, you know, to pack it away. So we don't know why we are counting. Right now we want to know how to count. So now every time either there's a sensor or me physically with a switch or whatever, every time I trigger I1, that should count. We trigger the first time, counts to 1. Trigger the second time, we assume it was preset, therefore it was a 0. It was reset, sorry, therefore it was a 0. Preset would mean it was already at 20. Let's suppose it was reset. So when I count, it's counting up 1, 2, 3 until it does what? Until it gets up to 20. When it gets to 20, when it is at 20 now, it will then close that switch there and tell our output that we've arrived at 20, we've counted 20 items, or we counted 20 times, whatever we're counting. All right, so let's make this interesting, because that was simplistic. Probably doesn't highlight what I'm talking about. Let's suppose I had a what call this, let's suppose I had another input here. This is additional, so I'll use a different color. Let's suppose I have an input here. That input there is driven by what we call a comparator. It's a comparator input, and we say when the count is less than 5, less than or equal to 5, we want a lamp to tell us 5. When it's less than 5, we want a lamp, let's call that Q2. So Q2 will go on at 5. Now, let's suppose we want another comparator contact to say when we have what call this, C1, our counter is equal to 10. Only at 10 we want an indicator to tell us. This could be Q3. Now let's suppose above 10, but below 15, we want Q4 to tell us. Now, we don't care about 20, because at 20 C1 will tell us, the counter itself will tell us. So now, what happens here is, if we engage, whether it's a sensor or whatever, if you engage I1 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, while it's below Q2 is on between from 0 to 5. You don't rather say from 0 to 5. Is on from 0 to 5. Why 0 to 5? Because the equal sign accommodates the 5. Okay, that is how our comparators work. Now, all right. So now, if we have 0 is less than 5, so it will be on. 1, click again. 1, it's on, stays on. 2, but are the others on? No. Now we click on, we pass 5. Now when you go beyond, I already said 0 to 5, so 6 is not 0 to 5, so it goes off. Now as 6 goes off, so no indicator is on at all. 7, nothing is on. 8, nothing is on. 9 is on. 10. At 10, let me say goes off beyond. Above 5, it goes off. Now only at 10, Q3 goes on. I should have said only at 10. Only at 10. All right. Only at 10. The moment you hit it one more time, or it senses one more thing, it is no longer equal to 10. So that will go off. That was already off. That will go off. But now it is above 10. So 11, this one goes on. At 11, Q4 goes on. Okay, goes on. 12 stays on. Click again. 13 goes on. 14 goes on. 15 is not this doesn't accommodate equal. It says below, so at 15 goes off. Goes off at count 15. Okay, because 15 is not what is not below for what call this itself. It has to be between 10 and what? Between 10 and 15 exclusively. It doesn't include the 10 and the 15. So at 15, that goes off. No light is off. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Our counter has counted out. Therefore, our C1 closes and we have Q1 running. All right, so we know that we've counted 20. If it was supposed to be counting items that are supposed to be picked up, at that point, these items are picked up and they are put away. That is the up counter. I hope it was clear. Let's try and see if we'll understand the down counter. I won't be as elaborate with the down counter. I think we get the concept of counting. I'll just do the down counter and the up down counter at the same time. Thank you so much for your attention. Brilliant. I hope we're going to be good programmers going forward.